This episode of Man of Prestige will absolutely lose attraction, sometimes, a lot of time, temporarily, for their wife, right? It could be so many things. But my point is that don't confuse the fact that you love your wife with being attracted to your wife, right? Those are two different things. If you're not sexually attracted to her, of course you will have a hard time getting it up. But that's something you want to think about and make sure that that's not the issues you're dealing with before we go into anything extreme, right? Bring her out, bring her out, relate with her from a standpoint of seduction. When you see this is your wife and you see I love her, I love her, I love her, but you forget that you're supposed to seduce her, you can actually lose attraction in a reverse way as well, right? Because everyone gets complacent. She gets worse too because she's like we're gonna be here forever anyway, right? So that's something to pay attention to. Reason number 3, age. I can't get it up for my wife. 7 reasons. Okay, so if you're having erectile dysfunction, ED, that's what they call it. Yeah. So if you notice anything about this channel, I try not to bring all the crazy terminologies, psychological terms. I want to break things down to simple languages that you and I can understand and we can discuss, right? So if you're having a hard time getting it up for your wife, that means I'm talking about erectile dysfunction right now. There are 7 things you should look at. Maybe 6 things you should look at before you look at the 7th one, right? But I just want to share this video for you as a reference, as a tool, just in case you're going through such situation, so you don't panic. Okay. Now, a lot of men will cap and say this has never happened to them before in the past. But it's bullshit. If you've done it enough time, it's happened to you, okay? If you haven't done it ever before, then you may say things like it's never happened to me ever before, right? Now, it's a different thing to say, yeah, it happened to me once before, or it happens to me all the time. All the time is bad. That's not good. Even 2 or 3 times, even more than 3 times, especially if you're a young man, that's something I will pay attention to. Well, it depends on 3 times over how many times. It depends on how many times are you. If you're like Fresh Prince of what do you call them? Fit and Fresh, Fresh and Fit, right? Who has quote unquote slept with 1,000 people, right? in 3 years or whatever, right? If you're that guy and you've had erectile dysfunction 3 times only, so maybe that number is not too bad, based on percentages, right? So it depends as well. We have to look at these things from that standpoint. All right, so now with that being said, let me just make sure that we continue here. So there are 7 reasons that I want you to look at altogether. One of them is where most people go at. That's where people talk about erectile dysfunction, all that stuff. But let me share some 7 reasons with you that you should definitely consider. This is not a professional medical or anything, okay? It's not, okay? You definitely want to make sure you seek the help of a medical professional, and I'm not going to be prescribing any kind of Viagra for you on this video either, okay? I'm just going to give you some reasons, and then you can maybe narrow down to 1 or 2 things that it could be. Reason number 7, anxiety. If you're anxious, right? Let's say, for example, you're 22, you're about to get your rock knocked off for the first time. Yeah, the anxiety can be big enough to actually or maybe you've been beating it yourself for so long and you're not anxious yet, it can refuse to come up, okay? So, but we're talking about wife. This is for your wife. Even for your wife, if you have anxiety issues, yes, it can affect erection, okay? Reason number 6, stress. Now, how this plays out, some of us, when we're stressed, that's what we want to do, and it's ready and up and ready to go. And there are some people that when they're stressed, they can't. It's not gonna come up, and even if they want to, even if as a duty, just like when I hear people say a woman withholding sex, I'm like, that's not necessarily true most of the time. If she wants to have sex with you, she will not be punishing herself, right? Sometimes because of things that have happening, it's affecting her emotionally, so she can't see herself with you touching her. And for most men are too weak to understand that at that level. It is what it is. I'm sorry. But yes, reason number 6, stress can affect a man just in the same way. even though he wants to maintain his duty and do it. But if he's stressed out, he may have, if you're stressed out, let me say, if you're stressed out, you may have issues with erection. Okay. Reason number 5, porn. Okay. If you're addicted to porn, yes, it can give you erectile dysfunction. Okay. Because again, you're trying to function as a human being and not a machine, a character that gets to shoot the same scene for 24 hours. It's just not realistic. Some people are able to watch porn and be okay. In fact, a lot of people are able to do that, and you just don't know if it's going to be you that won't be able to function like a normal human being if you get addicted to it, right? So you definitely want to be careful with that. Okay. That will absolutely affect your ability to be able to get it up for your wife if you're addicted to porn. Reason number 4, attraction. So if you're not attracted to your wife, see, some people don't understand this. You can be absolutely actively loving your wife, like the action word, right? The one that we know it's supposed to be, right? You love her because it's your duty to love her, just like the Bible said in Ephesians 5, and not be sexually attracted to her. And it could be an array of different things. It could be how clean she is. It could also be how she's carrying herself in recent times. It could be because she went through childbirth. Some men will absolutely lose attraction, sometimes, a lot of time, temporarily, for their wife, right? It could be so many things. But my point is that don't confuse the fact that you love your wife with being attracted to your wife, right? Those are two different things. If you're not sexually attracted to her, of course you will have a hard time getting it up. But that's something you want to think about and make sure that that's not the issues you're dealing with before we go into anything extreme, right? Bring her out, bring her out, relate with her from a standpoint of seduction. When you see this is your wife and you see I love her, I love her, I love her, but you forget that you're supposed to seduce her, you can actually lose attraction in a reverse way as well, right? Because everyone gets complacent. She gets worse too because she's like we're gonna be here forever anyway, right? So that's something to pay attention to. Reason number 3, age. If you're getting old, yes, and you're not working out and you're gaining 50 pounds every other 6 months, yes. But age, even age by itself, can affect your ability to get it up, right? So just keep that at the back of your mind that that's not a bad thing. It just means you could help yourself if you know that that's what it is. But it could be that it doesn't have to be an extreme situation, right? And reason number 2, lifestyle. If you smoke a lot, you drink a lot, you're reckless with your body, you're eating too much fat, too much carbs, too much anything, yes, your lifestyle can affect your ability to get it up. So if you watch your lifestyle and you engage some activities, go to the gym, right? Actually going to the gym, there's certain types of hormones that you secrete that help you with your with this kind of things, right? So pay attention to that. But that takes me, this is a nice segue to number 1. Reason number 1 is hormonal. You can call this medical too if you want to, but there's certain hormones that helps you get it up, right? So for example, testosterone, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Testosterone, I think so. Right? Whatever that is, right? That hormone, right? A lot of men are having less and less of it, right? They're not secreting more and more of it because the environment we live in honestly does not help that either, right? Everyone is sitting behind a desk. No one is going to fight an animal. No one is actively trying to protect the family in a physical way. So there are so many things that we can start claiming and we'll start digging in through, but just understand that it can be hormonal, right? So if you don't have enough testosterone in your body, talk to a doctor. Now we're talking medical now, right? Talk to a doctor. Confide in the doctor. That's what they're there for, and they may be able to help you. The best of us, listen, at the very minimum, remember reason number 3, age, right? We're all gonna get old. There's nothing to be ashamed of, right? But the only thing I would say be ashamed of is if you're ashamed of seeking help, you should be ashamed of that, right? But as long as you know how to seek help, you shouldn't be ashamed of anything. Does that make sense?